All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite topic, which is how to build free backlinks. But the twist is here, we're actually going to be talking about how to build free quality backlinks and not backlinks that are going to get you in some kind of trouble with Google or just not help you rank at all. I've been doing SEO for about 10 years and I've got a 7-figure link building agency over here at sirlinksalot.co, which has been in operation for about 6 years at this point, and we've got about 2,000 clients. So I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of building backlinks and what works and what doesn't work. The types of free links that we're going to be building are split up into 2 categories in this video. The first category is called pillow links. Some people call it foundational link building. And the second category is called editorial link building. The first category, pillow links, are a little bit easier to make. Pretty much anyone can go and make these things, and they don't really have the same weight as editorial links. So be sure to watch the whole video because you're definitely going to want to wait until we get to this stuff, because these editorial links are the real heavy hitters here. And also, we're going to be covering a ton of information here. I believe we're going to be talking about 20 or more tactics to get these free backlinks. So for the sake of time, I'm going to have to cover each one quite quickly. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below. And make sure you're subscribed to my channel so if I post more in-depth videos on any of these tactics, you'll be aware when they pop up. All right, let's get into it. So first of all, there's a couple things that we are not going to be talking about in this video. And the first thing that we're not going to be talking about is auto-generated spam. So you can see this ad here that's been going around lately. You pay about $59. It comes out to about 2 cents or 3 cents per link. Talk about how high quality these things are, how they come from these high DR websites, blah, blah, blah. But if you've been doing SEO for any amount of time, this is going to be absolutely super low quality stuff. And lo and behold, Joe Davies went ahead and ordered these. I watched a YouTube video he made on this, and it ended up just being a bunch of auto-generated Web 2.0 spam. And the content they used wasn't even like good AI content, like not even ChatGPT 3.5. Like I don't even know how they made content that was this horrible. Anyway, I'm not going to be talking about this kind of stuff. And the other thing we're not going to be talking about is guest post farms, which anyone can go and get links on. I saw this video on YouTube recently about getting free backlinks, and it actually has a ton of views. I had about 4,000 views and maybe 100 likes or so. The video really took off and did quite well. I don't want to call the guy out. I don't really know the guy, but about 2 seconds into the video that he's just going to be looking for these guest post footprints and doing guest post farm spam. So if you can find websites that you can easily get guest posts on just by typing this into Google, then Google can find them just as easily. These are not quality backlinks. This is not a sustainable link building practice. These links are not going to help you rank in the long term. And that's why at our link building agency, we won't even touch websites like this. You can see we guarantee there'll be no sponsored posts, right for us blogs, or any kind of website that really has anything like this on the website. If the website has anything like this on it, we completely discount it. We will not post links on it. And we would never provide something like this for a client because we know that it does not do anything good for your SEO. But all right, now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the first category of links here, which are the foundational pillow links. The first type of link are citations or directories, and usually these are built for local sites, but I actually like to use them for any type of website. You just go to the website, sign up, put in your business's name, address, and phone number, make sure it's consistent with your NAP on your website itself, and you're good to go. Citation sites like HotFrog have sections for literally any type of business. Or for example, if you're a plumber, you could get a plumbing specific directory like this, the plumbingdirectory.com, where you could be listed. These links aren't going to push your rankings. They're good for diversification. They're good for foundation building. They're good for showing Google that you are a real legitimate business. I like to just do 50 or 100 of them because they're just so cheap or easy to make, and then I just forget about them. Next up, we have social profiles, which is you just go and make a profile on any social media platform, and in your profile, you have a link to your website. So you can see on my Facebook page here, I've got links to Sir Links a Lot, our Facebook group, and my personal website. And really, you could do these on a million different social media platforms, and a lot of people and a lot of businesses do that. But definitely get your main ones. Get like your Facebook, your Instagram, maybe your Pinterest, Twitter, all that good stuff. Or you could look up a list on this site like Buffer and just see all these different platforms you could go and make profiles on. We sell packs of these at our link building agency, I think in about 100 or 200 per pack, but you don't necessarily need that many. Again, these are not the most powerful backlinks, so I'm not going to do a ton for your rankings, but they help create a solid link building foundation. And you can see this Google patent right here, this profile display in virtual social networks, where Google actually looks at your profiles on social networks to help establish your entity in their system. So definitely don't sleep on social profiles. Great foundational link building. Next up, we have Web 2.0s, and we're talking about doing these in a non-spammy way, a much more legitimate kind of way. So first of all, you could go to a website like Weebly.com, and really there are hundreds of different Web 2.0 sites like this. So go to the website, you hit create your own website, you sign up, and it ends up creating your subdomain on the website where you have your own mini website like this on their website. So you could create a little mini website here, have 5 pages or whatever, have some articles related to your niche, and then put back on it back to your own website. This kind of tactic was really abused in the past. I really highly recommend not trying to do a ton of it. You could just do 5 or 10 of these things. Don't use any kind of auto-generated software. And again, these are pillow links. They're not super powerful, so don't spend a ton of time doing these. Another thing that people might consider Web 2.0s are things like medium.com, where you can go and create an account and write articles on their website. I consider it more of a parasite than a Web 2.0, but you could go sign up on something like medium.com, write articles, link to your website. Like always, I would focus on quality here. Don't make it too spammy. You can use AI content as a starting point, but yeah, don't go too crazy with it. Next up, we have something that some people call entity stacking, but it's actually similar to Web 2.0s and also like social profiles. And someone I like to use as a good example of this is Julian Goldie, who's a cool dude and also a link builder. And if you just type his name on Google and you scroll down here, you'll start seeing a bunch of different platforms that he's signed up for and are helping Google establish him as an entity. So you can see his YouTube channel, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Udemy, which is basically courses and learning, Facebook, Upwork, Fiverr, Medium, which we were just talking about, Goodreads, so books. It's really easy to write a book. You even use ChatGPT to write a book and put it on Goodreads or on Amazon. Here he is on Amazon with the book as well. School, more courses. He's even using Spotify here, SEO link building with Julian Goldie on Spotify. I guess it could be a podcast here. Quora. Anyways, you get the point. It's all of these different websites you can sign up for and get a link back to your website. And it also helps Google establish you as an entity, a known entity. So when you type in your name on Google, you could end up having a little overview of yourself like Julian has here. Next up, we have audio and video links. So here is a YouTube video I made. And of course, when you scroll down to the description of the YouTube video, I've got links to my website as well as some other websites here. So it's really as simple as making a video and dropping links in the description. There's a bunch of other websites you could do this on as well. I usually just use YouTube, but you could do it on something like Vimeo or like Rumble. And you can do the same kind of thing on audio-specific sites, for example, Sound. Next up, we have a couple things that are a little bit controversial, but I actually still like doing these types of links. However, it's not really worth the time a lot of the time. And those are blog comments and forum comments. So the big problem with blog comments and forum comments is if you come to a site like Legit or Fiverr and you try to buy these, they're always going to be spam. I've never found a good service for these things yet. However, if you do them correctly and you do them with quality in mind and you're not just trying to spam, then I think they can actually make pretty decent foundational links. So if you find a relevant blog that you want to leave a comment on, go ahead and put your name, your email, your message. When you put your name, just use your actual name. And this one here doesn't actually have a place for a link, but anyway, we're just going to use this as a quick example. When you do your blog comment, do it very naturally. That means when you put your name in, put your actual name or your business name. Don't try to use exact match anchor text here because the name ends up being the clickable link in the blog comment. Be natural, leave your real name or your business name. If it has a place for you to put your link to your website, just put your home page. Don't do an inner page or something like that. And then try to write a good comment here that they might actually accept. And of course, don't do this on spammed out pages that have thousands and thousands of blog comments. Only do it on blogs that are related to your niche and haven't been spammed out yet. And just like blog comments, I think forum comments can be good too. They can be very natural if you do them correctly. So find a forum that's related to your niche, like for example, the Warrior Forum is related to SEO. Find a post or a thread that's related to your topic and then post a comment in there with a link to whatever you're trying to link to. However, you should know that you need to do this extremely naturally when you're leaving forum comments or they're just going to delete and ban you. So if you try to sign up for a forum and then you just go and leave one comment that has a link, they'll probably just not even allow it or they will just ban you immediately. So again, this can take a good amount of time to do, and it's not really a super powerful type of link, so maybe not worth your time. However, if you can do them, I still really like both of these things. However, just being honest, I don't really do much of them myself. But I might do a couple here and there, right? And last up, we have Reddit and Quora, which operate similarly to the way a forum works, but they're also considered free parasites these days. Sign up, make an account, find a thread that you're interested in. You can leave a comment. Your comment can have a link in it. However, just the same way that we were just talking about with blog comments and forum links, you have to do these things extremely naturally, especially over on Reddit. They're just going to ban you immediately if they think you're trying to be too promotional. So be very careful how you do this stuff. But if you actually do it correctly, you can actually drive some decent traffic doing these types of links as well. All right, now that we've covered the pillow links or foundational links, we will get to the heavy hitters, which are the editorial links over here. What I mean by editorial links is they are links from real websites. They are links from sites with a blog that you can't just go and sign up for and make a post for yourself on. You're actually going to have to communicate with the owners of the blog to try to get your links over on them. And there are a ton of different ways to go about this in getting these links for free, so let's go ahead and get into it. So first up, we have stealing links from your competitors, also known as skyscraper outreach, and this is probably the easiest and most scalable way to get free backlinks like this. So here I've typed in the website backlinko.com, which is also in the backlink or SEO niche. Here we are on their top pages, and scrolling down, I'll just go ahead and pick one. You can see their article here on link building services. Now clicking on backlinks, I can see every website that has linked to this content. So you can go ahead and add all of these websites into a list. You could also come over to Keyword Explorers and enter the keyword in here. So here are the top 10 pages that are ranking for that keyword, link building services. I could do the same thing and look at all the backlinks that are linking to each one of these individual pages here. You would then want to go to your website, write an article on link building services, but make it better, make it a very good article, and hopefully better than all of these other articles. And then you want to find the email addresses for all of these people, email them, say, hey, look, I have this new, better, updated article. I noticed that you linked to similar content in the past. Would you mind adding a link to my article or checking it out? And you are playing a bit of a numbers game here, but if you actually wrote a very good piece of content, then your chances of them actually linking to you go up quite a lot. And of course, I am using Ahrefs here, which might be out of your budget. However, you can go ahead and click the link in the description of the video for my recommended tools, and I've got some other options for you to check out here as well. This strategy is really crazy because you can really amass a very large list of sites to reach out to. So there's only 10 sites right here, but you could just keep going. You could get the next 10 sites, the next 30 sites, even the top 50 sites ranking for that keyword, and reach out to every single website that has already linked to the similar page. So yeah, this is a crazy good way to actually get quality links. And it's possible that a lot of the times they will ask for payment because it is 2024 and people know how valuable backlinks are. However, some of them will do it for free if your content is good enough. Next up, we have broken link building, which is when a site is linking to a page, but then that page no longer exists. So you essentially have a backlink, which is pointing to nothing. And how you can find those again, we are on Ahrefs. I looked up backlinko. I went to the Best Buy link section. Click on the HTTP code 404 not found, show results. And now you can see all of these pages that no longer exist. And then right here, you can see referring domains, and you can see all of the different domains that are linking to them. And here are the actual pages here as well. So again, if you had an article that was similar to example this one, YouTube SEO, you could go and then reach out to these pages, say, hi, I don't know if you noticed, but you're linking to a page that no longer exists on Backlinko. I actually just wrote a new and updated article. It's better than that one anyway. If you want to, you can consider linking to me instead. Again, some people might ask for payment, and this is a numbers game, but a lot of people will do it for free if you got quality content. One of the major downsides to this type of link building, though, is that broken link building has definitely got more competitive over time. So you have a bunch of people scraping for this kind of stuff, and they're just getting spam messages about this kind of thing all day, every day anyways. But have to mention it because you can actually get some really good backlinks doing this kind of thing. Next up, we have creating link bait articles, which is when you create an article that people will find naturally themselves on the internet, and then they will end up giving you a link to it. So some examples of articles that would be considered link bait are statistics pages, free tools, highly shareable or viral content, very good or very complete definitive type content, facts, and polls. Backlinko has also done a ton of articles like this. For example, you can see this one, Google CTR stats. And this kind of content is not easy to make, but it can create a ton of backlinks for you, right? So they've gone and created this amazing article with a bunch of numbers all about click-through rate and all these statistics, a bunch of numbers. And you can see that journalists would really like to link to this type of thing. So you have a journalist, they're writing something about SEO or click-through rates or Google or whatever. They type in CTR stats because they're actually looking for stats to use in their article. They see your article ranking number one, then they link to you because they use the statistics that are found on your page. One downside to this is it is becoming a little bit more competitive and you actually need to rank the page before people will find it. So you might actually need to build some backlinks to the page yourself. You might even have to pay for those backlinks so you can get it to rank before people will start finding it naturally and then the free links start coming in. But another thing you can do is you can just run PPC ad campaigns, so you'll be coming up at the top anyway. So if someone's searching for CTR stats, you're bidding on the keyword CTR stats and you're up there at the top already, and they might just click you instead of having to build links and actually having to rank the page. Next kind of link bait was free tools. Ahrefs has some really good examples of this. So if you go to ahrefs.com, free SEO tools, scrolling down here, we'll just look at this one, free keyword generator. Let's go ahead and pop that into Ahrefs and see how many links they have to this page. So you can see this page alone has earned them almost 4,000 referring domains, 4,000 links going to one page just because they created a free tool over here. You can enter your keyword in and find keywords. Of course, Ahrefs is a little bit of an extreme example and they have very good tools, but you don't have to make the best tool to do this kind of thing. For example, if you just type in something like BMI calculator, let's go see if we can find a really simple tool here for you. So here we have the BMI calculator on calculator.net, a little bit of a free tool they got going on here. But yeah, it doesn't have to be the best tool, doesn't have to be the most complex tool. You can use ChatGPT to make something like this, and then you can use a WordPress plugin to insert it onto your website. Highly shareable, people love free tools, they love linking into free tools. And in the age of AI, it's the easiest it's ever been to make a free tool and put it on your website. You don't have to hire a programmer at all. Next up, we have highly shareable or this viral type content. This can be difficult to do because trying to determine if something is going to be viral or not is a gamble. So you probably remember this article in The Verge, The People Who Ruined the Internet, where they're talking about how SEOs are all evil and how we've destroyed the entire internet. And it was actually a super interesting article and it went super viral, right? You can see on the Ahrefs that it's got about 1,200 referring domains. All they did was create an article that was controversial, highly shareable, that people like to talk about, and it just went crazy, right? But for this to happen, you're also going to need to promote the article. Most articles aren't just going to go viral on their own. So you could promote it on things like social media, or you could go more of the digital PR approach and actually reach out to journalists who cover this type of thing and see if they are interested in sharing it or writing an article about it. But we'll talk about digital PR here in a little bit more in depth. Next up, we have very good or complete content. So when there's a piece of content that is so good that it just covers the topic very completely, it ends up getting a lot of backlinks. So again, here we are on Backlinko, and we can see this article on their Best by Links page, top Google ranking factors. So here you have Google's 200 ranking factors, the complete list, and they have this massive article, tons of images, tons of information. It's just a really amazing article, right? And this takes considerable time and energy to make, but the links that it can earn is insane. So let's go ahead and look up their backlinks here. And yeah, it looks like this page alone has got about 6,000 referring domains. And next up, I won't really cover these, but facts and polls, this kind of just works in the same way that statistics works. So you could like have facts about bird watching, facts about whatever, and people will cite it in their articles. In the same way with polls. For example, you could have a poll on what do you think are the top Google ranking factors, and then have 2,000 SEOs voted on it. And people like to cite this kind of thing. So next up, we have guest posting, and most people consider guest posting a paid link building tactic. However, you can get guest posts for free. So you have your website here. You go and you find another website that posts content related to your niche. You then say something like, hey, I want to write an article and post it on your website. And it's implied that when you write this article, there will be a link in the article going back to your website. And there are two ways to go about getting these things for free, or my two favorite ways for getting guest posts for free. The first way is something that you can watch more on Matt Diggity's video over here on 9 ways to build free backlinks. And he talks about writing an article for someone and telling them that they can rank for it. For example, let's say I have a website about link building. I found a website that posts articles about SEO. I go to their website, I look up on Ahrefs, and I notice that they don't have an article about broken link building. So I say, hey, I notice you guys don't have an article on broken link building. I'm an expert on this. I can write you this awesome article. It can bring you in this much search traffic. You can show them some Ahrefs screenshots, things like that. Say, I'll write this article for you for free, and then you can get an article on their website. But of course, this will still be a numbers game, and a lot of people are going to ask for money. However, with enough work and enough time, and if you actually do your outreach message correctly, you can definitely get free backlinks doing this method. The second way to go about it is sending these very funny or interesting outreach messages. And the person that I like to listen to the most about this is BB, the link builder over here. We actually had her on the Links a Lot podcast a couple months ago. And BB's really good at writing these very unique, kind of funny email outreach messages to people. And they end up coming across as you're not just trying to do SEO, you're not just trying to do a backlink, you're actually trying to interact with them and to write a good piece of content for them. So BB has a lot of success using this kind of outreach method to end up scoring some free guest post backlinks. So definitely you can watch this video on our Sir Links-a-Lot channel, not my main channel, but Sir Links-a-Lot's channel for more info on that. Because yeah, it really takes its own video to explain this kind of stuff in depth. But the gist of it is that it's highly personalized. You're speaking directly to a specific person. You try to use some humor. You try to use the lingo that people use in that niche. And you're not too forceful and just saying, hey, I want a link, I want a guest post, whatever, stuff like that. You try to come across as more genuine, and you're trying to provide value by writing them a good article that their audience will like. So yes, it takes more work, but you can actually get some very good links doing this, because a lot of the time, the best links end up being links that not everyone can just go and buy, right? Next up, we have unlinked brand mentions, and these are when people mention your brand on the internet, but they don't have a link going to your website. And the way you can find these for free, you don't even need a tool like Ahrefs. Of course, if you have Ahrefs, you can do it a lot faster, but you can do it for free just by going to Google and typing in your brand name and then minus site colon and then your website right here. And what that will do is return all instances where someone has mentioned your name, but it's not on your own website. So scrolling down here, we can start to see some articles from other websites and stuff where people will mention our brand. And then if we clicked on the article and we notice that they were not linking to this, we could then go and ask for them to include the link to our website. To do it much faster on Ahrefs, you could come over to Content Explorer, type something like your brand name here, Backlinko, and then the same operator minus site colon and then your website name. Then you come over and click this thing right here that says highlight Unlinked. Then enter your website name here and click apply. And now we have a list of all of the articles that are mentioning Backlinko but are not linking to the website Backlinko. Next up, we have digital PR, and I really like digital PR, but the only thing is this can be a little bit hard to do and can also take some additional resources as far as tools, unless you're just trying to do everything completely manually without tools, and then it'll end up taking a lot longer of a time, right? But like we mentioned before, you first need to make highly shareable content that journalists like to write about. Then you need to reach out to those journalists and try to see if they will cover it. The cool thing about digital PR is you can end up getting links from these highly reputable news websites. But really, this would take more than one video to explain just by itself. So I'd recommend you go over here to Ferry Kazoni's channel. He's a popular digital PR guy. And of course, you could buy digital PR services, but they are quite expensive. We're talking about probably like $5,000 to $10,000 per campaign. However, you can technically do it yourself. You just have to really know how to do it, right? And I think Ferry pretty much walks you through it in all of his videos here. But yeah, you might end up having to pick up some additional tools as well, because the hard part becomes which journalists you're actually reaching out to try to get them to promote your content. Two of the popular tools that you can use for this are Muckrack and then Roxhill. But again, this takes a lot of know-how to do. It's a highly valuable type of backlink to create. So you have to create content that is very current, very up to date as far as what people are paying attention to and want to read. Then you're having to reach out to the very correct people at the correct publications and then hoping they'll cover it. So it can be a little bit hit or miss even when the pros are doing it. But when you do it correctly, the links you can get from this stuff is insane. And it's technically free, but yeah, it takes a lot of time and know-how. Definitely go check out Ferry's channel for more information on that. Next up, we have image link building, which we just did a podcast with Jabez Rubin over on the Sir Links a Lot YouTube channel. So definitely watch this video for a more detailed rundown on image link building, but here's the gist of it. First of all, you need to find something that people will want to find images about. So for example, we could make images about guest posting. So if you come over here to Google search for guest posting, you can see all of these images that people have created about the subject. You would then go to websites like Pexels and upload the images there, and you have something on your profile saying that they are made by you, that here's your website and all that good stuff. And then you just sit and wait. You'll probably have to wait for 6 months, a year, and you have to wait for people to start actually using the images. Then once people start using the images, you can send them an outreach message, which goes something like, hey, I noticed that you're using my images. I'm really glad that you're using the image, but would you mind giving me credit for the image? And you can't be forceful with them. You can't say, hey, I need you to give me a link for the image or I'm going to sue you or something like that, because then you'll get banned from these image websites. Just be very nice to them. Say, hey, I created this image. I put a lot of work into it. I'm really happy that you're using it. Can you please give us credit for making the image? And then they'll give you a back. Highly suggest watching this video with Jabez on much more information on this tactic because it's pretty cool. And next up, we have podcast backlinks. So you can see on our sirlinksalot.co website, we've got these two podcasts we did here with Jabez and BB the Link Builder. And whenever we do a podcast with someone, we put an article on our website as well. And the article always includes a link to their website. Then, of course, here's a link to the video and a little summary of the video as well. But of course, the most important part here, at least if you're building backlinks, is the free backlink you get up here at the top. So to be able to do this type of free link building, of course, you need to be able to speak on a subject and you have to go out, find people who are doing podcasts in your industry, agree to get them to let you come onto their show, talk to them, and then hopefully you'll get a link from their website whenever they start to promote the podcast. You can also see here, if you just Google Jabez Rubin, scrolling down, you can see our video ranking right up here at the top. And then you can see our article ranking number 5 here for his name, which is pretty cool. And it shows that this backlink that he's got from our website for doing this podcast is one of the most powerful links that he has. Next up, we have resource list link building, which is when a website creates a resource list like this. So this is our website. We created this article, Best PBN Hosting Providers. And scrolling down here, you can see we've listed about 13 different providers here with a bunch of information on each one. And we get tons of emails like every day, every week of other hosting providers that want to be included on this list. And so they are doing what's called as resource list link building. They're reaching out where they found resource lists that list their competitors and they're trying to get included on the same exact list. So you could just find resource lists for your niche that are including things that you provide or services that you sell or whatever. And then you could try to email them and try to be included on their list. Of course, when doing the outreach, try to provide as much value to them as possible. Try to explain why you should be included on the list, not just demanding. And of course, sometimes they might ask for payment or some way to sweeten the deal, but a lot of the times you can get this stuff for free or cheap as well. Next up, we have Haro, which is now known as Connectively, and there is a bit of a catch for this one because it's not free anymore. Haro used to be everybody's favorite free link building tactic. If you come over to the Connectively pricing page, you can see that you end up paying about $1 per pitch. That's $1 per email you're sending to these journalists who are looking for sources for their questions. How it works is journalists go and they ask questions for the articles they're writing. For example, I'm looking for someone with experience on marketing. Can you tell us the top 10 marketing trends of 2020-24? You send them an email saying, hey, I'm so-and-so. This is why I qualified to speak on this subject. Here are the top 10 things that I think should be included in your article. Yeah, thank you. If they like your pitch and they want to include you in their article, they will do a quote of you in their article, and then they usually link back to your homepage with a branded anchor or your name as the anchor text. And yeah, so this type of link building used to be free, definitely not free anymore, $1 per pitch. So you're definitely going to want to make your pitches good to try to up your chances and not spend as much per backlink. So not free, but I wanted to go ahead and include it in this video just because it was traditionally everyone's favorite free link building tactic. So I felt like I had to address it. So next up we have news roundups, and this really works in two different kind of ways. The first way is to find people that you know do in your niche. So for example, I know that Matt does news roundups in the SEO niche. Scrolling down to his latest post here, you can see May 2024's SEO news roundup. And scrolling down, you can see he just covers a bunch of different topics and then links to the article for each topic that he's covering here. So if I wanted to try to get a link from Matt, I could write an article, something that's actually very good, and then reach out to Matt and say, hey, Matt, for your next news roundup for June, I've got this article. It'd be awesome if you can include it. Here's what it's about, blah, 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 and then try to see if he will include it on his list. And the other way you can go about this is that you can create your own roundup. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a news roundup. It could be some kind of list, any kind of list. For example, over on the sirlinksalot.co blog, we could make something that's like the best SEO agencies in Houston. Then before I write the article, I could go and reach out to a bunch of different SEO agencies in Houston and say, hey, we're Sirlinksalot, we're writing this article. We want to include you guys on the list, but if you are going to be included on the list, we're going to want a link back. And then you can see who's going to actually reciprocate and give you a link, and then you can include all of them in your list or your roundup or whatever type of content you're making. So yeah, it's a pretty simple concept, but I believe we also talked about it more in depth with the same interview with Jabez over here, so you can go ahead and watch that for more info. And last up, we have link exchanges, which can be somewhat controversial as well. And you can go over to this article I wrote on Sirlinksalot for a lot more information on this type of link building. However, the main concept is you're going to link to one site and they're going to link back to you. You could also do three-way link exchanges where you don't exchange links directly like this. However, like you will link to site B, then site B will link to site C, or site C will link to site B, something like that. So you're not linking directly. Some people try to really avoid the situation because they think Google will penalize them if they do that. And there is a chance that Google will penalize you if you do this too much. So doing three-way link exchanges can definitely be a better tactic. However, I still don't mind doing two-way link exchanges, just direct link exchanges, if it's a very good website. And I will also say for link exchanges, I would never go to a link exchange group. I would never really seek out link exchanges myself. All that I do for link exchanges is I wait for emails to come into my inbox with people wanting a link from me. So if you've been doing SEO for a while and you're ranking for anything, you probably get people reaching out to you all the time trying to get links on your website. And in general, I never sell links on my own website. Some people do for extra monetization, but it's not something I do at all. But what I do instead is if I look at what their website is and their website is actually good, I say, hey, you can't buy a link on this website, but how about I'll link to you from my website, or I'll link to you from this other website that I have, and then you link to me as well, because I want to link from your website too, buddy. So this is really the only way that I do link exchanges, and I don't do them very often. I only do them if the website is very good and I want a link from it as well. All right, guys, wrapping things up here, we covered a ton of different ways to get free backlinks here. I think I've covered about 20 different tactics. And like I said before, each one of these tactics really could have its own video or even multiple videos on how to do them properly. So for the sake of time, I obviously can't go super in detail for every one of these tactics, but if you want any more information on any of these tactics, go ahead and leave a comment in the video and like the video as well, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll go ahead and create a video on it in the future. And you could go ahead and give me a follow on LinkedIn and X as well, as I'm quite active on these platforms and talk about this kind of stuff all the time. All right, guys, hope that helps, and see you next time. Bye-bye.